Welcome into Hockey Sense, everybody. How are we? Brought to you by First Community. You know we love our friends over there at First Community. Foreign exchange, the currency. Are you traveling across the country? You better make sure your money's taken care of. Who's traveling this fall? I want to know who's traveling this fall. Apparently lots of people, because recent polling shows Americans remain committed to travel, so it's not like people aren't traveling. They're traveling more than ever. Over 3/4 planning trips this year despite economic uncertainty. So that's a lot of people. But if you're one of those people planning to travel abroad, getting out of the country, then you're going to need some cash. We all know that. First Community offers foreign currency exchange at all their community branch locations, except for the Walmart location. So you can't go to the Walmart locations and expect to get some foreign currency. But you come back in a few days, you pick it up. It's that simple. The service is exclusive for First Community members. However, as long as you qualify, you can be a member too, simply by opening an account. So that's pretty sweet. So for a list of those branches, you can go online to firstcommunity.com. We love our friends over at First Community. Check out that Little Blues program. Do that today. Get your son or daughter signed up for the Little Blues program. Barrett Jackman, big shout out to Jax, just got named to the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame. So that ceremony typically takes place in January. So that'll happen again this January. Of course, the Blues Hall of Fame brought to you by who? First Community. We all know that. Blue Note Roofing, 314-920-5713. Call David Novak today. Let him take great care of you. Get that free estimate. Do it today with our friends over there at Blue Note Roofing. Gutters, soffit, fascia, whatever your needs are, they can certainly take care of you with all of that. Dirt Cheap Fun Fund, your one-stop party shop. Customer Appreciation Days. We love this. You know, every Wednesday in October. So coming up in October, every Wednesday, loyalty members earn 2 times the points of their purchases. You got to download the app for Dirt Cheap. Download the app, and then you can take advantage of the 2 times the points on your purchases. They offer delivery. So available in the Dirt Cheap app or on their website up to 10 miles. If you live within 10 miles of a Dirt Cheap location, they'll deliver to you. We all know the Blues season is starting here. So use the code BLUES and guess what? You get free delivery. How nice is that? You use the word BLUES, you get free delivery. New locations in Washington, Fredericktown, Hillsborough, and the newest location in Wentzville. So they continue to grow. Holiday gift sets, all that type of stuff. We'll talk about that later on, but Dirt Cheap Fun Fund, your one-stop party shop, baby. All right, Blues. They played 2 preseason games. More games coming up. People want to know the competition. We're going to hear from Justin Carbonneau later on in the show. Great conversation with him. Big fan of Carbo. He's going to be a good player, whether it happens this year or next year. It doesn't matter. He's going to be here, and he's going to be a good player for a long time. Listen, the chances of him making the team this year, I would never say it won't happen, but he continues to do what he's doing, they're going to have a decision to make, and you never know. He may end up sticking around for 8 or 9 games if they wanted to go in that direction. Milan Lucic, by the way, didn't skate last few days because of a groin issue. Sounds like he's going to skate on Friday, and he'll play next week, possibly as soon as Tuesday for a home game. Next 3 games are at home for the St. Louis Blues, so that'll be fun to get some home games here in town. But that's where we're at right now with Milan Lucic. But I do think they are pulling for him to make the team. Obviously, it's difficult to make the team if you're injured. So the good news is it doesn't sound like it's serious. That's not serious with Jimmy Snuggerud either. He went hard into the boards. I mean, this is the things that you just hope don't happen in training camp, but he goes hard into the boards. You can't really prevent that, but the good news is he's fine. So no issue there with Jimmy Snuggerud. Looking forward to a couple of games coming up. They got a game at home on Saturday. Then, like I said, next Tuesday, then they play another home game later on next week. So 4 more games to go, 3 of which are at home here on home ice at the Enterprise Center. So a lot of good stuff happening with the St. Louis Blues and their preseason. But they look good. I mean, they really do. I mean, the biggest competition right now is obviously with that third-line right wing spot. And the competition is based on what the organization decides. Who do they want to put there? Do they want to slide a guy like Bukestad over to the wing? Can Sundqvist play the wing? But I think your top 8 spots are secure up front. And for those of you who maybe haven't been following it as closely, you look at, Buchnevich, Thomas, Snuggerud, Holloway, Shen, um, Kyrou, and then you have Neighbors and Suter, Puce Suter as your top 8 forwards. Then it's, okay, who's gonna be that winger on the other side? Could Toropchenko even slide up and be a winger? I mean, who knows? I mean, Jim Montgomery's saying he thinks he can score 15, maybe not 25, but he can score 15. And I would agree. This guy gets a lot of chances. Needs to improve his ability to finish because I think he does have that ability to put the puck in the net. We've seen it from him before. Go watch his highlight reel from junior. I mean, he scored some beautiful goals. And I know it's junior, it's not the NHL, but this guy does have the ability to put the puck in the net on a more frequent basis. So, you've got Toropchenko, you've got Walker, you're kind of your staples on the fourth line. You've got Sundqvist. I mean, listen, you could have a fourth line with Texier and Joseph on it. And that could push Walker and Sonny down to your 13th and 14th forwards out of the lineup. Big shout out to Nathan Walker, who joined us a couple of weeks ago here on Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. Signs that 2-year contract extension for $875. I mean, this guy just loves hockey. He just wants to play. Easy negotiation. I mean, this guy continues to get one contract after the next, signs these short-term deals and goes out and does his thing. I like the way he's skating once again. Very underrated skater when you talk about Nathan Walker. But then Bukestad could be a guy to center that fourth line. Sundqvist obviously could be a guy that centers the fourth line. So, you have some options there. But, where does that leave guys like Lucic? It's tough to say at this stage. He's got to stay healthy, like I said. And then you want to see him get in the lineup and truly make things happen, whether it's offensively, down low, protecting pucks, winning battles, creating space for his line mates, driving the net, and creating some offensive chances through his forecheck and through his net drive, and then being responsible defensively. But you want to see the physicality. You want to see him be a disruptor. I think those are the easiest ways to get the crowd behind a guy like Milan Lucic, is if he's out there, if he's really using his size, because he is a monster of a human being. I mean, just a big boy. And so I think a lot of people are pulling for him. Joseph and Texier, they look good too. I mean, you just forget what these guys bring to the table. Like, the one thing I will say about a Matthew Joseph or an Alexander Texier when you watch them play, I mean, these guys are bona fide NHL players. I don't think there's any question. They skate at the NHL level. They handle the puck at the NHL level. They have NHL composure with the puck. They can make plays at the NHL level. So, I mean, even getting these guys through waivers would be difficult if you were to send them down. Not to say that that's in the works or that's the plan of the organization, but I don't think that would be easy to do. Although the easiest time to send guys through sometimes is right at the end of training camp before the regular season. Most teams don't have cap flexibility, payroll flexibility. Their rosters are set. They want to get a look at certain guys. So, maybe that would be the easiest time to do that. But again, I'm not saying that's the Blues' plan whatsoever. But they do have a lot of guys that are fully capable of playing in the National Hockey League. I didn't even mention Dalibor Dvorsky. I mean, he's another guy that they've been looking at on the wing. And, he's going to get more additional looks as we move along. There's just a lot of young guys in the organization right now. You just wonder, are all these guys going to stick with the organization? Where will we, be 2, 3, 4 years down the road with all these young guys? Because eventually, even the Pekarsiks are going to get here. The Stancils are going to get here. The Kazamakis are going to get here. I mean, there's just a lot of guys that have NHL potential that should play at some point in the near future. So again, I guess it's a great problem to have. I mean, the Blues have been drafting so good, but you just can't have a roster full of like 19 and 20-year-old kids. So, this will be interesting to pay attention to. I know you've got some contracts looming over guys like Fowler, Holloway and Broberg and these guys, and that'll all take care of itself. They'll get those done. Fowler's going to be interesting to see how that plays. I think, listen, he caught lightning in a bottle when he came here last year. Everything went well for him. You spend your entire career with one organization. Things can get stale, especially when the team isn't having success. So I think the patient approach by Doug Armstrong and his staff is very smart. It's intelligent. Let's pump the brakes and kind of see where things are at, and remind ourselves that he's 33 years of age. And, you know, what we saw from him in the first round of the playoffs last year, and really from the day that he got here, and the performance we saw from him in his 1000th game in Wrigley Field, and the idea that he's going to be able to recapture that type of energy and momentum is probably unrealistic. I don't know if you can expect that from him, but you want to see him, be consistent and be a quality NHL defenseman night in or night out, playing alongside Colton Parayko, the big horse, um, who, by the way, is mentioned by Carbono. He mentions Parayko by name. He mentions Shen by name. How about Doug Armstrong mentioning Braden Shen? We had the media luncheon the other day, which I hosted, had a great time out there. A lot of the great bending partners and a lot of the great people inside the Blues organization were on hand. But, just the fact that Doug Armstrong says that Braden Shen has been as impressive as any player in camp. He may have called him the best player in camp so far. Just his attention to detail, how he drives the bus, how he does every drill the right way, the reloads, the forecheck, everything like he just does to perfection. I mean, you want that out of your captain. You want him leading by example. And, who knows what that's going to look like with Braden Shen? Is he going to be your second line center all year long? Are they going to flip him and Suter? You have some flexibility there, but nonetheless, this guy drives the bus when it matters the most, and when you're trying to set the tone here in training camp for the regular season. So I love seeing that from Braden Shen. So big shout out to the captain for how he's doing. We get into some NHL news and notes and some stuff with Jamal Mayers coming up as well. We'll hear from Jamal next, and then Justin Carbonneau later on in the show as well. So a lot of stuff coming your way. Again, this is Hockey Sense brought to you by First Community. Also, Lordo's Diamonds. Get that special someone, something special in your life with Lordo's Diamonds, baby. Right there in the heart of Ladue. You can't miss it. Right next to Truffles. Right there in Clayton. You can call them 314-432-8008. Check out their incredible selection of engagement rings. Are you looking to pop the question? If you're looking to pop the question, you can certainly do so. And nobody has a better selection. Nobody has better customer service than Lordo's Diamonds. You know what I always say? You can go in there with a $500 budget or a $500,000 budget. Guess what? You're going to get treated exactly the same. They will treat you exactly the same. And I know it's cliche. You may think it's, BS to say that and whatnot. No, but I'm being honest with you. They treat you unbelievable. Mike and Jimmy Lordo, these are the best in the business. These guys are so good at what they do, so knowledgeable, but so personable and so respectful, man. They treat you the way you want to be treated. That's why so many customers who go to Lordo's come back and they never go anywhere else. That's why they've been around for almost 70 years. Lordo's Diamonds. Check that out, lordosdiamonds.com, LORDOS, lordosdiamonds.com. All right, we got lots more to come on this edition of Hockey Sense brought to you by First Community. Of course, Blue Note Roofing, dirt cheap, fun, your one-stop party shop. I got to tell you about Cross Country Mortgage, though, because Mark Cooper, Cross Country Mortgage, 314-713-4377. They've got great incentives for everyone. Are you looking to refinance? Right now, they've got refinance loans, 15-year loans in the fives. Yeah, so loans are at their lowest point that they've been over the last calendar year. Last 12 months, this is the lowest we've seen these rates. So they can get you a 15-year loan in the fives. They can get you a 30-year loan in the low sixes. But you got to call Mark Cooper with Cross Country Mortgage. 1 in every 35 closings around the country are done with Cross Country Mortgage. Are you kidding me? They've got incredible incentives for doctors up to $1 million, incredible incentives for those first responders. If you're injured or killed in the line of duty, your mortgage is covered by Cross Country Mortgage up to $525,000. That is the truth. But again, on these refinance loans, you won't pay closing costs. You won't pay any of these other fees either. You'll save around $2,000. And that's no joke to save $2,000. So call Mark Cooper today. Mention Hockey Sense. Mention my name. You will save that $2,000 in savings. 314-713-4377, Cross Country Mortgage. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Jamal Mayers next, then Justin Carbonneau, the first-round pick from 2025. Lots of good stuff ahead for you on this edition of Hockey Sense, brought to you by First Community. I'm Andy Strickland. Don't go anywhere. All right, back here on Hockey Sense, presented by First Community. Jamal Mayers in the house. Who brings you to Hockey Sense, by the way?
Oh, we're going to jump right to it.
Right into it.
I love it. Well, of course, it's Bartolino's, one of the best family-owned restaurants all over town. 5 restaurants, in fact. Bartolino's South, Bartolino's Osteria, Chris's Pancake and Dining. Chris is at the dock at Bartolino's Twin Oaks, which is probably my favorite one, maybe because it's the newest one. Great looking, great bar, great atmosphere, great location. They forged many lasting relationships with their customers, their family motto. Cook good food, serve plenty. 50+ years in business. Only 2 places to dine, at home or one of Bartolino's family of restaurants.
Beauty. I love it. And listen, before we get into jobs, I want to talk about the cold tub.
Oh,
I feel like I could use that. A little
dude.
cold tub, a little sauna, a little hot tub.
I'm telling you.
Is it a 3-in-1?
You know what? I'll be putting in a old school Finnish sauna. Obviously the technology's changed, but I love the traditional sauna and cold tub. I'm so excited for that. They've got the chili tubs there from the famous swimmer. What's his name?
Matt or Phelps?
Yes. Phelps has a company that they partnered with. And of course, Spas and More has unbelievable deals on all kinds of hot tubs as well. So we're going to get like an 8-person hot tub out there in the backyard as well for next year. I'm so excited. You think about Spas and More, they're local master spas dealer with 2 locations, Sunset Hills and Overland Park in Kansas City. Mike Leahy is the owner of Spas and More, and Mike's been selling master spas since '96. He opened the St. Louis location. Are you kidding me? My thing died right in the middle of reading. That is being unprepared. Andy, can't believe that happened. But at the end of the day, Spas and More does everything, right? They're going to be able to go to your house. They're going to figure out what you're missing, what you need, what your needs are, and take care of you. And so the people there have done a fantastic job so far working with them. So excited for them to be on board, sponsoring what we've got going on and what they're doing. And you know what? You think about what they do. They've been around since 2006. They got it's American-made hot tubs and spa manufacturer. They make them in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They're the largest hot tub and swim spa manufacturer in the U.S., in fact. And Angie Hess, Mike's daughter, and Brian Oldham run the daily operations in the Sunset Hills location where I went and visited them. And Samantha Hess, Angie's daughter, is the store manager. And you think about, they have high-quality tubs, hot tubs, swim spas, cold tubs, infrared sauna, traditional saunas to help you with your health, wellness, and relaxation needs. Turn your backyard into an oasis of your dreams with a master spas from Spas and More. Spas and More located at 12957 Gravois Road in Sunset Hills, where we put the in spa.
I like that. All right. Lots to get into around the NHL right now. There's so much happening. First, I got to ask you this, though, because I didn't have you on last week. We weren't able to do that. But Kaprizov turns down the $16 million per year deal from Billy G in the Minnesota Wild. Would have been the richest contract in NHL history. And I look at all these guys who are up for deals right now. Whether it's Quinn Hughes, who's got 1 year left on his deal, he could negotiate right now. Connor McDavid, Kaprizov. I mean, all these guys. Who's going to be the first to blink? Is that what it is? Like, who wants to be the first guy to sign?
A little bit of that, but I think that what you're seeing is when the cap goes up, as it is, and as it will continue to do for the foreseeable future, what you're seeing is those players can potentially sign anywhere they want and get a max of 20% of the cap. That number is really close, if not all the way up to $20 million a year.
Right.
And so what you're seeing is now that big jump is making guys say, hey, hold on a second. Do I want to stay in my current situation? Do I want to do what maybe even what the NBA has done, where you get a few superstars? Because now you can have a guy making 17.5 and a guy making 8 or 9 is no big deal because of the cap going up. I think you're going to see not super teams necessarily, but guys have a lot more say and control and dictate where they want to go and how they're going to get there as they approach free agency here in the next 2 or 3 years. I think the landscape is changing. I think teams are positioning themselves to make those moves behind the scenes. I'm not suggesting collusion, but let's be honest, teams do talk. Teams do find a way through their channels and the way they do things that, you're going to see guys dictate, much like Matthew Tkachuk did, where he was able to dictate where he went. I think you're going to see even more of that
Mhm.
in the next 5 years.
The difference is, and you're right, Matthew's one of the first ones ever. I think Hossa did a sign and trade years ago, but
Yep.
Matthew doing the sign and trade. And, Calgary got out in front of it, right? And they said, okay, this guy's not going to stay with us. And he told the team, I think what Matthew did was the right thing. You tell the team, hey, I'm not going to resign and give them an opportunity to, recoup some assets in return. And so you give that team a couple of teams that he's willing to sign an extension with, and then you go out and try to find the best deal. Then you negotiate your extension. But if you're Connor McDavid, you're not looking to sign a max deal. I don't think. Maybe in terms of percentage, you can recoup the most money. But like, what if you're him and you can get 95 points in your sleep, and with your eyes open, you're getting 120, and you're Connor McDavid? Why would you want to sign anything long term? I would sign short term deals, one short term deal after the next, and then kind of decide where I want to go and who I want to play with and which team is set up to win.
I think for him, it's about winning.
Mhm.
I think he's made that clear. I think his allegiance and his desire is obviously to do it in Edmonton. I think the unfortunate part that maybe we're not talking about is that if he were to leave
Mhm.
after 1 or 2 years, or even next year,
Yeah.
the sad part is I think people in Edmonton would be mad. And that stinks because he's given them 10 years of
Mhm.
unbelievable, got him a new building. You could say that he had a lot to do with that as well.
Revitalize the organization.
Really has. And so I just hope for the sake of him and, if he chooses to say, that's it, I'm going to go to a different place, I really do hope that the fan base in Edmonton goes out graciously and understands that, you know what, it's probably unlikely he's going to spend his entire career anyway.
Mhm.
He got us to 2 Stanley Cup finals in a row. We weren't able to push it past the finish line, but can you blame him? And I agree with you. If he signs 2 or 3 year deals, that's still generational money
Yeah.
at the level he's going to be signing at. And so I have every confidence that he's going to do just that, sign at a team for like 16 to 18 million for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
His life, your life doesn't, and then he'll do it again.
Yeah.
And he'll just continue to do that as the cap.
And I do think he'll stay in Edmonton for a couple of years because I think that's been the communication between him and some other guys who have signed there recently or extended there. I think they extended with the belief that he would be there. But I will say this to Edmonton Oilers fans, that if he leaves, it doesn't mean you can't win, because I really still think they can, led by Draisaitl. I think Draisaitl's that good,
Yep.
and he's proven that when McDavid's not in the lineup that he can still help you win. Now, you're going to have players around him, and you're going to need to still build players, but it's no different than when Wayne Gretzky left Edmonton. They still won another Stanley Cup. They had other great leaders there. I'm just saying Draisaitl's that type of guy that I think if you're still able to build around Draisaitl and he's the head of the snake, I still think that they're going to have a team that's capable of winning. But obviously your chances are greater with the best player in the game on your roster.
I will respectfully disagree with you. I think if Connor McDavid wins, they're not winning without him. I think that there's no question Draisaitl is arguably top 5 player in the entire league. I just think under a cap world, they're not able to insulate and kind of support like they were before there was a cap. I just think it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to do just that. I do not see them getting back to the final without McDavid if he were to leave.
Well, you're saying that
I
they
just
won't
don't
be
see it.
able, without McDavid, like free agents wouldn't want to sign there and whatnot. Like, is that what you're saying?
I do a friendly wager with you that if McDavid leaves, that they will never get back until they get another generational type player. Like it's not Draisaitl is not going to be enough.
Historically, it shows that these guys who are the best players in the league, once you get to 30, 31, they don't typically win at that age. They don't typically win Ross trophies. They don't win Hart trophies, once you get into your 30s and whatnot. Now, he may be different, you know what I mean? But, like, you just wonder how open is the window? They just went to the final back-to-back years. Now, they should be able to get there again with those two guys, but it's not a guarantee either. I just think you can't underestimate how great Draisaitl is. He can't do it on his own. He can't do it with McDavid, right? That's been proven. You can't get past Florida with McDavid or with both those guys on the same teame. But if you're still able to build some players around those guys, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I still think you have a very competitive team even
Oh, yeah.
without them.
Oh, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying, can they get over the hump? And I think without McDavid, I don't think they get over the hump. First of all, they have to fix some of their issues in the back end. They have to fix
Even with McDavid,
like even with McDavid, they got to fix their goaltender issues. I'm sure he's sitting there going, I love my goalies, but really, like we can't.
I think deep down he probably wants to leave now, to be honest with you. Like, he sees other teams winning, people he knows winning. He sees a guy like Marner now going to Vegas, and like there's a lot of options for these guys. But I do think, let's not fool ourselves. There was a conversation between McDavid and Draisaitl before Draisaitl signed his extension. And I know some other players who have signed extensions there recently. I know they had a conversation with McDavid too. So, but he doesn't need to go sign a 7-year deal or an 8-year deal. Like, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to do that. For some guys, it makes sense to have that type of security because you don't know where your game's going to be 4 or 5 years down the road.
I know he had those conversations, but he could also have another conversation with Draisaitl and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, dude. I'm signing a 2-year deal. We got 2 years to get this done."
Well, no, that's different. I don't think he ever said, "Hey, I'm signing for the max number of years." You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think most people thought that he would sign in that 4-year range. But I think the disappointment of losing the last couple of years has been really difficult for him. This guy wants to win so bad. And I think sometimes you just look at it and say, can we make it happen? And you look at Florida, how many players who are part of that core who have come from different organizations. It's not like they're all homegrown.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, their best defenseman, they got on waivers, right? And Forsberg,
Very true.
They were able to draft Ekblad, obviously first overall, but Matthew Tkachuk they bring on board in a trade. They get Reinhart from Buffalo. I mean, there's a lot of different pieces. You draft Barkov. I mean, those are the core pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to build around those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, Marchand, all these guys, man. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think everyone's paying attention to it, and we'll see how it plays out. But with Kopitar leaving LA and Kenny Holland there. Kenny Holland, from what I understand, really kept Connor McDavid in the loop with pretty much everything. He was on the inside with a lot of decisions. Not to say that he was making the decisions, but he was never surprised by a decision. And not to say that Kenny Holland or Stan Bowman isn't keeping him abreast of what's going on, but I don't think he invites him in quite as much as maybe Kenny Holland did. And the relationship with Connor McDavid and Kenny Holland was really strong. People may not realize that, how strong it was. And I know people talk about taxes and whatever. You're making $17, $18, $19 million in LA. You can live large, and you can also make a lot of money off the ice too. So
how ironic would it be if that were to happen?
With Gretzky? And that means he comes to St. Louis next?
That's right. There you go.
Then he'll be coming to St. Louis. So I think we're all looking forward to that. But Kaprizov, how do you see that one? Is that him saying he just doesn't want to stay in Minnesota?
It could be that. It could be that, certainly. I think that, I think the Russian factor is different.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of those Russian guys, they like to play in New York, they like to play in Miami, they like to, that's what they dream of when they're thinking about coming to the United States. It's no offense, they don't dream of playing in Minnesota.
And not every player has the option,
right? And so I wouldn't be surprised he wants to go with another superstar Russian player somewhere.
And that would have to be probably a package deal. Panarin's deal is going to be up too.
Yep.
And I would imagine some type of package deal to have both those guys stay. You have Shesterkin there, Panarin and Kaprizov represented by the same guy.
Right.
So there's probably ways to make that happen. And he seems like a good fit there in New York. And I think a lot of Russian players who I've talked to around the league believe that's where he's going to end up, is New York.
I will say this though, to Billy Guerin's credit, right away came out and defended the player because he looked terrible, right? You turned down the richest contract because if he is to stay, Billy had the foresight to understand that we need that relationship with the fan base to welcome him back and be
correct.
So it was really smart that
I never got
the billet on that.
He was going to stay anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And you don't know. But if he doesn't get hurt last year, I mean, he's in the Hart Trophy conversation and probably wins it. He's that good of a player. So all eyes on Kaprizov this year. This is why we wish Russia was playing in the Olympics. I want to see all these guys playing in the Olympics, and go head-to-head against the best players from all the other countries. I want to pass this on real quick because Milan Lucic, I mentioned it a little bit in the first segment too. But because he's got that groin injury, right? Terrible timing for a guy who's trying to make the team, but it sounds like he's going to skate Friday of this week and is expected to play next Tuesday. So he's going to have a chance to get back in the lineup and play and, continue to make a case. But I think this Justin Carbonneau, listen, who's going to join us here on this edition of Hockey Sense. He's made such a good impression. He's not gonna. I don't see them keeping him right now. But I said this even coming into camp. At this time next year, I think you had to have him penciled in. And I say penciled because you can always take an eraser to it. But with his size and the way that he plays and what he's shown so far, I think there's a chance that you see him play games even at the end of the season, much like Snuggerud did last year.
I love hearing about surprises like this
Yeah.
because that's to me what camp's about for these younger players. I've said it before, but I really believe it is that the organization had a plan for Carbono,
Mm-hmm.
and his play at camp has expedited that plan.
Yeah.
So he's fast forward his own plan. So although it may be disappointing even if he doesn't make the opening night roster,
Yeah.
I hope they communicate that to him as a younger player, right? Remembering what that felt
Yeah.
like, that, you know what, I know you're going down, but your plan was you were not going to be ready till a year and a half from now. What you've done is put yourself on the radar for the end of this season. And so that's what you want.
But you never know. Maybe they keep him for 8, 9 games. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. His play will dictate that. And I think that you want to make those difficult decisions. And in the same breath, you talk about a guy like Milan Lucic and you wonder whether or not he'll push someone out or find a way to take someone's job, which is what he'll have to do. I think you're going to get the best version of him. And we talked about this previously. And I think sometimes we, in today's NHL, we don't talk enough about the importance of perspective and what that means to younger players and being around them on a day-to-day, and him having the game, not being around the game for a little while has given him a new perspective, a new approach, a new appreciation, and that spills over into younger players to be excited about coming to the rink when it's tough to come to the rink, to be excited about being there, to appreciate what you have. And so there could be a likely scenario where, Lucic is a part of that. Maybe he's a 13th forward, maybe in and out of the lineup, but the value he could give being around and helping these younger players, to me, sometimes gets lost. I think that there's a lot of value there as an organization to see what he can bring. And it might mean that he doesn't even finish the year. Maybe, the younger player takes that spot. He gets sent down in February, and then team makes the playoffs, gets called back up. Like, that could be a little bit of that for him. And I still would perceive that as a success for Milan Lucic this year. So hopefully he gets a chance to get back in and prove himself and prove that he has value and can make, write his own, ending to his story.
Yeah. I think they signed him to a PTO and brought him to camp really hoping he would make the team. I think that was the goal of the organization internally. Like, I think if you were to ask them, they would say, we want this guy to find a way onto the team. And listen, he's been around long enough. He knows he's got to show that he can play, but also be physical, be a disruptor. And I think with him playing a home game here on Tuesday, if he can get the home fans behind him too, that'll go a long way also if he can have a big game and play well. The defense for the Blues is maybe the most underrated story here going into the regular season, outside of St. Louis. Just how good they are defensively. People don't know about Tyler Tucker in terms of what kind of player he can be. And then the addition of Logan Mailloux, who we had on Hockey Sense shortly after the trade was made. Like, this guy has just been, he looks like he's played 500-600 games when you watch him play.
Right. You know what? That's what you want from your younger players. There are a lot of expectations, obviously well documented, the path that he has taken, and certainly a first round, prospect, and a guy who they have hopes will grow into the role of running that power play. And I think that, I'm excited for what he can bring. And I think that it's an unbelievable find for them and a really, really smart trade. And quickly they've been able to retool their back end. And you look at the pairings that they're going to have, and obviously the familiarity with Fowler and Parenko and Broberg and Falk had great chemistry. I think Tucker is a lot more mature in his game than I think a lot of people on the outside realize. I think there's a lot there. I'm really excited for him to be an everyday guy and see where his game can go. And I think that he brings a physicality, a predictability to his game, a good first pass
too, man.
He can make plays. And I think that you're not even seeing the most confident version of him, right? When you're not in all, like this could be the year he takes another step.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if those two young guys stay as pairs, but I think there's a maturity to Tucker's game that would allow you to do that, and a responsibility to his game, a hardness to his game that he can lean back on, certainly. And but there's a lot of upside for both of those young players, and I think it's really exciting for the organization.
This is the first time Tucker's ever come to a training camp where he knew he was on the team.
Yeah, it's a different feeling.
And Monty kind of called him out the other day after the game, saying like he knows that's not his best. We know he can play better, and that's Monty's way of saying don't be too comfortable. I want to see you play like you're uncomfortable, like you're still fighting for a spot, and that you don't just have a spot. Like be who you are and who we know you can be. And I think it's a good message from Monty. I think that was done by design.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Like that's how you pull the strings and you get what you want out of your players. And sometimes you talk about it through the media. Sometimes it follows up with a conversation, which it likely did. But I think getting their attention and making it's not necessarily putting them on blast. It's being honest, being direct, and making it clear that the standard for the team and the standard for the individual is different than what that they have to stay on top of it. And I think that's part of the maturation. That's part of the growth process. That's part of his experience, and he'll be better for it.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And Broberg's going to have a good year too, man. This guy, if you look at the way he played in the playoffs and down the stretch, how good he was. They got all these first-round picks, man. I mean, and Mayu would have been drafted higher than he was. He was still a first-round pick, but would have been drafted higher than he was if he didn't have, some of the issues going on off the ice. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. I know you want to talk about Robert Thomas before we get out of here.
Yeah, you know what? I just think that I'm super excited. A motivated Robert Thomas. I think when he was left off of the Four Nations, you saw his best hockey being played, probably because he knew the decision maker was up there watching, and he was unbelievable to finish the season. I believe he was had 60 assists, right? And what he missed like 12 games.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see the best of him. I think making that Canadian Olympic team is important to him. I think that he's right there. I think that if he gets off to a great start, he will be on that team. I think that the fact that he can kill penalties, that he's really in the last 3 or 4 years improved his face-off percentage. He's not just a one-trick pony anymore, and I think that he'd be an unbelievable addition to the group that has to change. It can't be the same group that you brought to Four Nations, and it will change. It will be a different group, and I think you're going to see, as Blues fans, you're going to see the best version of him because of that, and that's exciting.
He led the NHL in scoring over a 25-game stretch, like in scoring, not just in assists, but in overall scoring. I think after the Four Nations, like the next 25 games, that's like a third of the season. That's a good sample size. It's not 10 games. It's not a week. And so, yeah, I agree with you. And Snuggerud looks really good too right now. So
that's good.
How good is this team, you think?
I think they're a playoff team. I think that
are they a playoff team that competes for? Because I said last year that they would be a team that would play meaningful games in April, and if all goes well, they're fighting to get into the playoffs down the stretch where they're playing meaningful games into April. I think this year they're not fighting to get into the playoffs. I think they're fighting for a top 3 spot in the division. If they can be in contention to. They're going to be more fighting for playoff positioning versus trying to fight to get in, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. I think Binner will have a lot to say about that as well. I think he has to come back with another fantastic season, which I expect nothing but, especially because of the Olympics. I think that we're going to have some surprises come January, February, meaning like, wow, I didn't know this young player could make an impact like he has. If you have 2 or 3 of those examples, then I think they take another step.
Who slips if one of these teams slips between Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado?
I think Winnipeg will be one, but not enough because they were so good. But I think Dallas, for me, could be a team that takes a step
Jamie
back.
Benn just came out today. He had a collapsed lung. He's going to miss the first month of the season at least.
Yeah, that's
or be reevaluated in 4 months. It's kind of a scary injury.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. Yeah.
Barrett Jackman goes into the Blues Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Jax, just it makes me think about when he first got drafted and he had hair coming out of his t-shirt, and I was trying to get him into Harry's when he was 18 or 19, and
With the subscription razor?
yeah, that's right, that's right. But just consummate gentleman.
Oh, Harry's
The
you're
bar.
talking about the bar.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't you remember that?
Oh, you said the
Liz?
hair was coming. I didn't know you were talking about that.
No, Harry's like, it's like
Absolutely.
18, like, but you don't
course.
need an ID. You're gonna play for the Blues, so
Yeah.
that's one of my fondest memories. But just a great teammate, great person, great ambassador for the game, and means so much to not only the Blues but the community. And happy for him and his family, well deserved, and just means we're getting older that he's
Yeah.
a Hall of Famer. Excited for him, and it's gonna be a great night.
Yeah, I would imagine you'll hear some other guys getting into here very, very soon as well. So some other exciting names coming your way with the Blues Hall of Fame. Tell us about Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Well, the best about Dobbs is that they're locally owned, family owned, over 40 locations around town. And the thing about what they do is they can diagnose your car. Doesn't matter what you drive, a light truck, SUV, hybrid, EV. They can get their car up, diagnose it, fix it. I mean, the other day, if you have a nail or you're unsure, your tire pressure is not right, you don't need an appointment. You go in there, they'll take care of you. Get your car in about 30 minutes, take care of it. They're like, oh, you got a nail punctured, and they fix it, they seal it, take care of it. And it's all about treating people the right way, not taking advantage of people, and doing the right things the right way, making sure you're taken care of. And that's why you trust them. And so when you have an issue with your car, that's the only place I go to. Go to Dobbs.com for more.
There you go. Justin Carbonneau, baby, the first round pick, 19th overall in the 2025 draft. He joins me next here in Hockey Sense. Don't go anywhere. All right, back here in Hockey Sense, Justin Carbonneau. Last time I talked to you was after the draft. You were all fired up, man. So now you're relaxed. You've had the prospect camp. You've had the tournament up in Minnesota with the rookies, and now here you are a couple of days or a week or so into training camp, man. So do you feel more relaxed? Are you more fired up, Justin? How do you feel after being in the organization for a few months now?
Yeah, still fired up, but the different reason, after the draft, I was fired up to get drafted. Now is just to be here with all the Blues players. It's pretty nice. It's pretty cool. So no, just enjoying my time with all the vets and all that. So lots of learnings, but yeah, fired up to be here.
All right, I'm curious because you play your whole life. You get to the Quebec League. You're playing major junior. You do the U17s. You do all of that, and you're always thinking about getting drafted. So then you get drafted, and then you're like, okay, my first NHL training camp, and being around all the vets and the NHL players in camp. How you envisioned it versus how it really is in real time, man. What's it been like for you?
Yeah. When you're younger, you watch NHL players and you see their skills and all that. But once you get there and you see how they work out, the meetings, all the little details that they do every single day to be where they are and to stay consistent and all that, it's just incredible. And you see all the staff. You see sometimes behind the bench the coaches and some trainers, but behind the scene there's so many important people that does every single day jobs that you don't see on the big screen. But all the equipment manager, trainers, even people just holding the door. It's just so many people that works for the Blues. It's not just a team; it's it's a huge team. So no, it's great to kind of see the day-to-day life of a pro hockey player. It's really the big difference here for sure.
Yeah. You tell all your friends back home. What are you telling them when they say, hey, what's going on there in St. Louis? Like, what's your reaction? What's your response to them, Justin?
Yeah, to be honest, it's just like right now it's living a dream. It's a dream I've been chasing. All my friends from when I grew up in Quebec, but also just in Montreal playing in Blainville. They watched me work hard. We pushed each other when we were younger, but also in Blainville. So to be here, it's just a dream, and I'm just I'll continue to chase it. For them, but also for my family.
All right, who have you worked with the most since you've been here, or had the most one-on-one conversations and bouncing stuff off of? I mean, is it Monty? Is it Otter? Has it been Steiner? Has it been Army? Like who have you kind of talked to the most on the side, just in terms of the day-to-day process here in camp?
To be honest, that's what I really like is everybody kind of helped me kind of grow details by details. Today, just like today, I had some video with Claude Julien. Yesterday it's just a small talk with some Monty on the ice about D zone. So it's just different things that every single day, every coach kind of helped me. Even the guys, Blues player veterans, they help me about the little details that pros kind of learn through their career. So now that I have all of those tools as a young player is just a great start for me.
All right, so last year in the Quebec League, you have almost 90 points, over 40 goals, second in the league in both those categories. But I don't know how much you're talking to the coaching staff about D-zone, right? I mean, they just want you to be a wild cowboy out there and just play loose and play free and, do your thing offensively. So has that been an adjustment for you? You get to the NHL level, you get to the pro level, and, you got to know where you are and what you're doing defensively. So is that a change or is that something you've always done?
I haven't been, perfect, in that part of my game. That 200 feet game is something that I really want to, get better. It got better the last few years, but to be a pro and play in the NHL, it's another step. And, I want to be I want to play against the best players in the league, so, but I have to also being able to play defense against them. So it's small details that as a 18 years old, I'll be probably really better at 21 or 20 or 19, whatever. But it's just day to day. I got little details to work on, but it's part of being a pro. So I love it.
What's the pace of practice like in compared to what you're used to?
Yeah, the pace is higher for sure. It's with playing with, like a blue, it's different that probably a lot of teams around the league, but we're all about reloads, track back details. It's that comes first, so the pace is always good. Had some battle drills a few days ago, so no, it's a great pace, but it's training camp, so it makes sense.
How much history of the Blues have you studied or learned or just kind of read about the history of the organization? And how much did you really know when you got drafted about the Blues?
Yeah, well, before you get drafted, you kind of know, I'm a big hockey fan. I'm not just a hockey player. I've watched a lot of hockey. I've studied a lot of contracts all around the leagues. Just a hockey nerd a bit, I'd say. So before I got drafted, I knew, some things about the Blues. Some players that played here. Some records. Jersey retired, all that. So, I knew a couple of things, but, to get here, now you kind of see a Tory crew come, to the rink and talk a bit. You have guys like Bertuzzo, so Peter Stastny, all that. So it's just, when you get drafted and you get to be a Blue, you learn, even more about the team and about the history of the team and what it's like to be a Blue. So, since I've been here, it's just a lot of learnings.
All right, so be honest with me. What's your mindset coming into training camp? Like before camp even starts, are you here to make the team or are you here to like, hey, whatever happens, happens. You're going to be a Blue at some point and it won't be long before you're here full time. But, do your thing and then go back to junior, have a great year and then come back. Like what's your mindset heading into camp?
Yeah. Well, my mindset, for me, I cannot like come to training camp and told myself like, hey, like whatever happens. For me, it's do or die. It's really a do or die, and it's I want to make the team this year, and if I don't, well, it's gonna be next year, and it's just that mentality of getting like I have nothing to lose. It's for me, it's there's no way I'm gonna go on the ice and not give my 200%. It's just it's not me, it's not who I am. So it's not being overconfident. It's just saying like every practice, every day, I want to show that I want to be out there with these guys. So it's you have to say you have to stay focused and know what's going on. Don't push up things and just have like a bad thoughts about it, because sometimes, you want to play in the NHL as 18, it's not easy, but, I stay confident in myself and, I know that if I do the right things, I think I can, force some hands, for sure.
Yeah, you can't lose that confidence. And management and coaches, like they don't say anything to you about that. Like, I mean, they just kind of leave you. They just evaluate you, right? They just watch you. They're not telling you, hey, this is what you got to do to make the team. You just got to understand what your responsibility is each and every day and come ready to play, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's, like I said, they helped me a bit, learning things and, making sure that, my game, gets better every single day, to be pro level. But yeah, I think it's my job, it's my job to show that, physically, mentally and, detail wise, I'm NHL, so it's my job to show them, and every single day it's an opportunity for me to show them. So I'll say it's my job, but they help me for sure in my job.
Who do you like watching every single day? Who's caught your attention? And give me some vets who you've really been able to spend some time with, who have maybe taken you under their wing a little bit. Maybe you spent some time with them away from the rink, who you've gotten to know. Give me some guys.
There's a lot of guys, but first one that comes to mind is Brian Shan. I got to play with him on the same line the first week of training camp at Holloway. And he does everything right, off the ice too. But you get to the rink at like 7:30, and he's in the cold tub. So it's just off the ice he does the right things, but on the ice too, so many details of his game, reloads, track back details. There's no reason why he shouldn't be captain. Because he does everything right, and he's proving. Freeze that guy here. I'm like, yeah, that's why he's captain. All the details, track back, reloads, off the ice, he takes care of everyone. He makes sure that everybody's on time, so he does everything right. So for me, it's just a great example of what leadership means. So that's him for sure. Colton Pareko, too, just a great guy. He's a great player. He's got good sticks and all that, and he gives advice for his day. But of the guys, he takes care of everyone. He goes to every trainer, asks them, how was your day and all that. So it shows that, being a good person, being a gentleman is really important to be a hockey player. But yeah, there's few guys like that, but those two, really stand out.
Yeah. Good guys, man. I mean, that was a great answer, Justin. Because I mean, you picked the right guys, but then you've got the Thomases and the Kyrus and the Holloways. I mean, they just have the skill level, right? That just pops.
Yeah, well, Holloway's I played with him on my line, and a few times I just went in like that's disgusting. Like he does some moves in the ozone. He has so much speed, so he's just sometimes like he's really good. And Karu and Thomas too. Thomas on the ice, all the details he does everything right. There's nothing he misses. He plays good D zone, good O zone. He's in the structure. He plays PK, power play. He does like everything right. In Cairo, I think in the O zone, he's buzzing. You get kind of don't get loose on him because he's gonna make you pay. So no, he's really good in the O zone.
All right, so guys like you, Snuggerud, Dvorsky, I mean, have you guys been able to get to know each other as well? A lot of the young guys who have been drafted in the first round in recent years, have you gotten to know those guys as well?
Yeah, I spent Devo, you spent rookie camp with him. I played with him, a few games, so I got to know him, and even Snuggerud is spend some time with him. And when you're younger, you kind of know who's young too, so you spend some time with them. But no, both great players and great guys.
How good is Snuggerud's shot? His ability to shoot the puck.
Yeah, I did a couple one-timers with him, and he shot a few times too, and he has a snipe, I think he's going to score a lot of goals, but, that's my opinion, but yeah, no, he's really good, and his shot is incredible.
All right, so you've got that football background. You and I talked about that after you were drafted, man. I mean, how does that help you? Because football, people don't think, hey, football, Canada, it's not the biggest sport there. Obviously, it's different here in the States, but still, I mean, you bring that football mentality to the ice. I mean, that can give you an advantage, can it?
Yeah, I think that before I got to the draft and the combine, I didn't think of it that like something that helped me and all that. But when I rethink about it, I played running back, and it's just playing fearless, just going through contacts, and just doing whatever it takes to kind of get a touchdown or get a goal. And I think I bring that on the ice, and just whatever it takes. And I kind of like to get hit. Some players like to hit. I like to hit too, but I like to get hit. It just gave me just a good feeling, get the momentum going. So yeah, I think football helped me to be the player I am today. But maybe not the shot and all that, but the physical aspect is really big. Yeah.
You told me you're not afraid of anybody. You're fearless. You just used the word again, fearless. But you said that a couple times when you and I spoke the night of the first round. And that fearlessness, where does that come from?
I don't know. I think that maybe I was born with it. I don't know. I just for me nothing really scares me. Well, you can be scared sometimes in life. I'm not saying if there's a 6'8" guy 240 trying to hit me, Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not scared, but there's something different than just like showing it and not going through contacts or just saying like, I don't care, whatever happens, just go through him and, and see what happens. So there's two different things, being fearless and show it after that. But yeah, I think it's just, it's a big part of my game. Getting inside dots, taking shot, taking hits and all that. So I have to keep using it.
All right, so the style of game, the pace of play, like in the two preseason games you've been in, like compare that to major junior. Like, what's the biggest difference playing junior versus even the preseason games when it's not fully stacked NHL rosters just yet? Although if you play some more games here, you're going to see more rosters that resemble NHL teams. So, what's been the biggest difference so far?
I know it's simple, but guys are bigger, faster. Decision making has to be faster. You have less time because guys are faster, like I said, are bigger. So you have to find ways to create plays and in small time zone. So you have instead of having 1 second maybe in junior or rookie cap, now you have like 0 point. I don't know the real second, but you have real less time. And when you try to get around guys or trying to hit guys, you have to be more ready because guys are bigger. So I think that's the two things that I've watched. Being different than rookie camp.
What have you been doing? Like when you're not at the rink, are you bored? Are you like just kind of watching TV and looking at the clock and waiting for it to go to bed and then wake up and do it all over again? Like what have you been doing with yourself when you're not at the rink?
Yeah, now with no roommate is a bit different, but some used to take some walk around the city a bit, get a coffee. I have a bunch of recovery things too. At night, sometimes it's football. Big football guy, so I watch football with fantasy. I have a fantasy back in Blainville, so trying to call my guys to at night kind of watch football. But yeah, mostly just taking walks and go around the city.
Who's your football team?
Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they had a big win. They finally got off the schneid there on Sunday night, man. They needed to win.
Yeah, well, they have a tough schedule. Now the Ravens, I think it's bad schedule, but still the best team.
Tell me about your home life, man. I mean, you have brothers and sisters. Like, were you the only one playing hockey in your family? Did your dad play? Like, how'd you get into hockey besides being Canadian?
Yeah, I mean, my dad used to play hockey, didn't play at pro level, but he used to play hockey. So, we kind of get me and my brother to the hockey. My brother used to play, he stopped last year. He was a good hockey player, good student too. So it's kind of my dad and my brother that kind of brought this passion to life with me. So, my mom used to play basketball growing up. So she's in the Hall of Fame of her high school team. So it's really like a big sport family, I'd say. So it's not just me who plays sports; it's kind of everybody. So I'm the last one of the family to start sport, I would say. So yeah, big sport family.
So, what's the best part about it now? So, you're basically you're taking your family on the ride with you, right? I mean, they got to be enjoying this with you now.
Yeah, 100%. When I say I watch a lot of hockey and all that, my dad does the same thing. My mom too. My mom now knows every single rule of hockey, so it's pretty good. And my brother too is a big hockey fan. So yeah, it's my dream, but I'm living the dream with them. So it's pretty nice.
Are you talking to your dad and your brother after every game? Are they watching the games and then giving you feedback?
Yeah, they're it's different than when I was like 5 years old. You don't get to go home and talk to them, so it's more like a quick text or a quick call. But yeah, they watch every game, so they always have opinions, good or bad. But it's always fun to talk about the game with them.
All right, so it was a great draft when you were drafted. Obviously, a little bit different, obviously this year with it, being decentralized and all that type of stuff. But who are some of your buddies that got drafted? Give me some first round names that you're also paying attention to seeing how they're doing.
Well, there's a lot of guys, but like Brady Martin, I gotta say my guy Bill Zahn, and he got drafted to Pittsburgh, but also he plays with me, so it's pretty sick to get to the draft and kind of see his family, see him and living that with him. I was roommate with him at the combine too, so it was just this summer we spent a lot of time together, kind of having the same goal, and now to be here in St. Louis and him in Pittsburgh is just two dreams. Always obviously you have Desnoyers, Desi, he really close to him, good buddies with him. So, I know he got the little surgery going on, but, he's just a great player. We have Hitchison, Cameron Reed. There's a lot of guys, but, I played with them at the prospect game or at Hockey Canada or before younger. So, just a lot of guys that I watch games and sent texts a couple times.
Yeah, Aitchison, he took that big hit, man. But he'll get you back though too, won't he?
Yeah, I'm not worried.
No, he'll get you back. He'll take a number. He will. Hey,
Yeah.
I remember talking to you like you weren't sure if you were going to go back to the Q, play another year junior, if you're going to go to college. I know Boston College was an option for you. I'm curious what other colleges were really recruiting you hard, and what led to your decision to go back to junior, and how enticing college was to maybe go in that direction.
Yeah, I think most college kind of made an offer, not to me, but, to my agent and all that. I'm not dealing with all that to myself, but, and I think Boston's were really, really close from home, 2 great programs. So BU and BC, like you said, 2 great options, but, I talked with the Blues. I had to wait for the team that drafts me. So I talked with all the staff, development staff, but also GM, assistant GM, all that. So everyone from the staff, I think I've talked to them about, what should be my decision. And at the end of the day, it's my decision. I have to make what I think is best for me and my family. And I think that, staying with the team that helped me getting drafted, and I played there for the last 3 years, and I've built something with my teammates that I wouldn't want to change. And I think being loyal to that and those relationships with the staff and the teammates, it's way more important than the money you're gonna get somewhere else or the promises that some team's gonna make you. So for me, it was my values. It's something that my family taught me too. So it's just important for me to keep going with Blainville.
Yeah, good decision. And the team's going to be good. If you go back to junior, right? You guys are pretty stacked this year.
Yeah, we have a great team. Our GM made a lot of trades. And we have a solid group. So with a new coaching staff with a great mentality. So no, we have a great core for sure.
You feel good? Like your body feels good? You're having fun, right? I mean, how's the body holding up here in camp?
Yeah, it's a little sore, but that means I'm working, right? So it's a little sore from the camp, but it's part of hockey, and I don't. It's all focused and serious, but it's fun. I'm having fun out there. Hockey is fun. At first, so just having fun. Playing hockey here in St. Louis.
Yeah, I love it. All right, last thing for you, the World Juniors. Is that something like you dreamed of as well? Like if that opportunity were to present itself, if you're not here in the NHL and you got a chance to go play in the World Juniors, like what would that mean to you?
Yeah, obviously to represent your country would be incredible, but it's not in my hands. It's not my decision. So I went at camp and I got every single day I played better than the day before. So I'm happy what I showed. They know how I play. They know what I can bring to the team. So now it's their decision, but will be an honor.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, who give me a player you emulated, your game after, like modeled your game after, who's in the NHL right now? Give me a couple guys that you really like watching.
For me, it's Kempe and Konechny. I think that the speed and the shot of Kempe, the pace he plays with, I think that's I can bring. And Konechny, it's more his mentality, getting to the net, fearless, inside dots around the net. He's 5'8", but he plays as 6'1". So I think his mentality, how he plays with Kempe, it's something I can bring.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Listen, man, keep doing what you're doing. You've had a great camp so far. I know the fans are excited. They love watching you, and the organization has been raving about you as well. So keep it up, keep it going, enjoy yourself, and whether it's this year or next year, no matter when it happens, I know everyone's going to be excited to have you here in St. Louis, man. So keep it going.
Appreciate it.
All right, I hope you enjoyed all the great stuff we had for you in store, man. I love this Justin Carbonneau kid, man. I mean, he says he's fearless. He's got that football mentality. And he's going to have a great year no matter where he plays this season coming up. But he will be a St. Louis Blue before too long. Plays bigger than he is, even though he's got good size. Strong. He's 6'1", skates, shoots, passes. And he's learning the professional game. And that's one thing you have to understand. It's like, learning the professional game. I don't think it's always easy for everyone to just understand the transition that takes place when you go from junior hockey to the highest level. And most guys get an opportunity to kind of season themselves in the American League. He's probably going to go straight from junior to the NHL. I think he has that type of ability. And, learning the D zone, I think, is an important part of it, understanding the systems. You're playing junior hockey. They just want to, let you go and do your thing. Go get the puck, be close to the puck, pick up the puck, make plays, skate with it, and produce offense. There's just not as much emphasis or focus on the defensive side of things when you're that level of a player playing at the junior level. Now, it doesn't mean they don't teach how to play in your own end. Of course they do. But with that being said, it's just not an emphasis for these guys that are incredibly gifted offensively. They've got third and fourth line guys, and they've got, players who obviously naturally gravitate towards that 200-foot game and certainly have that role on their junior team, but it's not necessarily the role for a guy like Justin Carbonneau. So that's where the adjustment comes, man. So we loved having him on, and always appreciate Jamal Mayers for giving us time as well. Kirkwood fence. What are you looking for? Dog fence? They've got those. Wood fence? Vinyl fence? I got a vinyl fence, man, and I love it. It's white. It's beautiful. They recently came and did a little bit of a repair because we had that tornado. That tornado just rocked my neighborhood several months ago, I guess now, last April, whenever it was. I mean, just rocked my neighborhood. And the fence, for the most part, didn't get damaged at all, but there was a couple of, little slats there of the vinyl fence that got damaged. They come right out, they fix it, no issues whatsoever. They are unbelievable. You think about Kirkwood fence. Since 1979, that's how long they've been around. They've got the 2-year warranties on your fence. So many different things they can help you out with. Call them today and let them take care of you. 314-966-3333. That's pretty easy to remember. 314-966-3333. All different types of fences. Let them take care of you. Service@kirkwoodfence.com. That is the website. Contact them and contact them today. Make sure your house is secure as well. Not just your fence, but your house is secure. With Hackett Security, the leader in security globally, not just here in St. Louis, but anywhere you are. 314-432-4200. That's the phone number. Security cameras, home security systems, cameras, sensors. Get that free professional installation, smartphone solutions. I mean, everything you can do from your phone nowadays. So check that out, Hackett Security. Nobody does it better than Mike Hackett and Hackett Security. So call them today, 314-432-4200 for Hackett Security. Again, First Community brings us Hockey Sense each and every week. Here live from the Half Coast Studios. We have Aiden in the house. Maddie is sometimes here. Alex, everybody. We love our friends over there at First Community. Ask about the Little Blues program. Get your son or daughter signed up today. If they're between the ages of 4 and 9 and you haven't played organized hockey, then you are eligible. And all the equipment comes with it too. So you get your skates, your stick, you get everything that comes with it over there with the Blue Note, our Little Blues program, which is incredible. That's how my son got started, with Little Blues. Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. When you're part of the loyalty program, every dollar spent at Dirt Cheap earns you points to use in-store. And the freebies, those come every week too in the app with Dirt Cheap Rewards program. So download that app today for Dirt Cheap Fun, your one-stop party shop. Of course, Blue Note Roofing, again, 314-920-5713. Call David Novak today. Cross Country Mortgage, Mark Cooper, 314-713-4377. And if you're looking to buy a house or looking to refinance, there's incentives galore for everybody. Out the wazoo, man. You've got incentives for the refinance with loans in the 5s. $2,000 in savings when you mention Hockey Sense. 314-713-4377 for Mark Cooper and Cross Country Mortgage. Man, so much stuff going on here on this edition of Hockey Sense. Blue season, the regular season, right around the corner. Still 4 preseason games to go, but we're getting closer and closer and starting to get an idea of what this team is going to look like and what this season will look like for the St. Louis Blues. I keep saying they're going to push for a top 3 spot in the division. Last year, I thought they would push for a wild card spot. Came down to the wire, had to have an incredible second half just to make the playoffs, I don't think it's going to be nearly as stressful. I don't think it's going to take a miracle run down the stretch to get into the playoffs. This team is good enough to be consistently good throughout the course of the season. Should be a lot of fun. Give me your thoughts. What are your predictions? Put them in the comments. I love reading the comments each and every week. I love the messages that we get on Instagram. You can follow me at Real Strict Nasty. You can also follow me on Twitter at Andy Strickland if I'm going to have a voice. Communicate, man. I love being in contact with all the listeners. Tell me what you like, what you don't like about Hockey Sense live from the Half Coast Studios. Always love the feedback. Always interested to hear from the fans. So thank you so much, as always. Appreciate the support you've given us for years here on Hockey Sense. And, of course, we've taken it to a podcast format here at Half Coast Studios. We've been doing this for over a year now. For years, we were on the radio, but I love doing this thing on video here in this beautiful studio, and it's a great way to communicate with each and every one of you. So we thank you. We thank Jamal Mayers and Justin Carbonneau once again. All right, I'm Andy Strickland, reminding you to keep your head up and your stick on the ice. We'll do it again next week, as always, for another edition of Hockey Sense. Have a great weekend, everybody.